two big headlines were Laura Conover winning the attorney general's or county attorney's race, becoming the top prosecutor in the county, as well as Ramon Valadez getting knocked out of that board of supervisors seat that he's held for nearly 2 decades by Matt Hines, the emergency room physician who used to serve in the state legislature and has already made a few runs for Congress over the last decade.
Let's go to Laura Conover first. I mean, Jonathan Mosier was endorsed by Barbara Lawal, the Arizona Daily Star. What did voters want that everyone else seemed to be missing in that race?
Well, I'm not sure that endorsements carry the same kind of weight as they used to, but I would say that there was certainly a call for change around the country in recent months in terms of how we deal with criminal justice. And Jonathan Mosier had worked in Barbara Lawal's office and was generally seen as an heir apparent and not so much as a reformer, although that's something he tried to stake out on the campaign trail. Laura Conover, of course, coming from the defense attorney corner of the universe. She'd worked as a public defender in the past and was saying she was really going to bring change to the county attorney's office and the approach of what kinds of criminals to prosecute. And I think that message resonated really strongly among Democrats, clearly because she got in the high 50s.
What did Matt Hines do differently this time around? Because as you noted, he's run before, he's been a state lawmaker. And what does he need to do to seal the deal in November?
Well, he does. It's a heavily Democratic district. I don't think there's any question that Matt will go on to win that general election unless something really dramatic happens. However, I'm not exactly sure what happened in that district. Matt had a lot of lingering name ID from his runs for Congress. But Ramon had been there for a long time. He was basically the heir to the Ekstrom machine that used to run that corner of Pima County back in the 1990s. So it may have been had a lot to do with name ID overall at the end of the day when it comes, and it may just be that folks had some Valadez fatigue and didn't feel like he was doing the job for them anymore.
All right. On the sheriff's side of things, Chris Nanos versus Mark Napier, we saw this back in 2016.
We did. So this is a rematch. Chris Nanos was appointed to replace Sheriff Dubnik, who had been Pima County Sheriff, I think, since the late 1800s or something like that. We saw Nanos try to take control of that office just as a procurement scandal was erupting in terms of a refrigerator that was purchased for a cafe that was being run by the relative of one of the high-ranking sheriff's department officials. So you saw some issues coming up in terms of that and how some RICO money was spent. And Nanos really didn't handle that very well and gave some very bad press conferences along the way and just looked bad. And that was a real upset victory by Mark Napier, the Republican, who was able to win that seat, has been in it for 4 years and has handled it very differently than, say, Joe Arpaio did up in Phoenix, where he's a much more moderate politician. He seems to think that he needs to win the support of Democrats and Republicans. But again, I think this is going to be a very tough year for Republicans. So we'll see exactly how that rematch goes.
All right, Jim Ninsel, there's a lot we didn't get to, which means we'll have to have you back over the next 3 months as we inch closer toward November. Thanks so much.
Thank you.